No, I'm going on. I kind of thought about that stuff when I was sick with cancer 8 or 9 years ago. Okay, a lot of information, but it worked really well. Michael Douglas is a famous American actor and director who has won many awards, including 2 Academy Awards, 5 Golden Globe Awards, and a Primetime Emmy Award for his versatile roles. Douglas has broken Hollywood norms with his long-term marriage to Catherine Zeta-Jones in addition to his career success. But their relationship has been closely watched, especially since they announced a short break after he got a health diagnosis, and the events that led to it were very controversial. A lot of people are shocked by this turn of events, which makes people wonder about the couple's future together. In order to fully understand how things turned out, it is important to remember that we started at the very beginning to learn more about who this icon really is. Early life Michael Douglas was a shy and thoughtful child who often had problems with feeling insecure and doubting himself. His family background is shaped by its humble beginnings. His paternal grandfather was an immigrant and junkman who had a hard time because he couldn't read, write, or speak English. Kirk was one of 7 kids. After college, he met Michael's mother and then joined the Navy. Because of this, the family lived in a small New York City flat with only one room. The intense nature of his father had a big effect on him. Kirk Douglas' marriage to Michael's mother fell apart when he moved to California to work as an actor. At the time, artists were making 5 films a year. Michael was sure that his dad loved him, but Kirk felt bad because his own father had left his family, and he was determined not to do the same thing again. But he thought he was doing that by putting his job ahead of his family. This made things feel strange and tense. When Michael was 13, his mother married Bill, a kind and caring man. That's when he finally had the male support he needed. Bill's willingness to listen and support Michael helped him grow and feel better about himself. Michael's dad, Kirk Douglas, would always be grateful to Bill for being kind and making a big difference in Michael's life. Michael Douglas was a student at the University of California, Santa Barbara in 1963. He loved how lively the school was at the time. He liked the freedom of the time, putting on stylish velour Renaissance shirts and riding his motorbike to rock shows in San Francisco. But things took a big turn for the better when the vice chancellor told him he had to choose a major. Michael picked theater on a whim, and that choice would affect his life for a long time. Kirk went to almost every show and gave helpful feedback, even though he was very busy. "Son, you were awful." He would say, "You were just awful." Michael laughed as he thought about this memory. Michael had terrible stage fright when he first started working in theater, but he kept going over the pain for a year until he finally started to see progress and his confidence grew. For Michael Douglas, the most important thing his father taught him was how important it is to do his best and work as hard as he can. After he did that, his father told him to stop caring about what would happen and move on. This knowledge was very helpful for Michael Douglas as he dealt with problems and worked towards his goals. Michael Douglas was extremely shy as a child and had a lot of self-doubt and insecurity. Even worse, he couldn't do it because he had terrible stage fear. It's hard to think that these early problems wouldn't shape his future. Keep reading to find out what the secret behind his name is. Michael Douglas got his start in Hollywood in the 1960s as an assistant director on a number of his father's films. He then turned to acting and got parts in a number of TV dramas before becoming famous as a co-star with Carl Malden in the hit 1970s TV show The Streets of San Francisco. Douglas really understood how hard his father worked because they had to film 26 shows a season, 6 days a week, which was a very demanding schedule. Still, Douglas, who is shy by nature, found the experience hard, especially when he saw the scary camera lens, which he compared to an X-ray machine in a dentist's office. When Michael brought Ken Kesey's book One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to the big screen in 1975, it was the start of a huge success as a producer. His father bought the rights to the book. He had featured in a Broadway version of it in the early 1960s and had long wanted to make a movie version of it. He gave the rights to his son after his attempts failed. His son then made a historic movie that won Academy Awards in all 5 main categories. Jack Nicholson won Best Actor, Louise Fletcher won Best Actress, Milos Forman won Best Director, and the movie got the Best Script. After this win, Douglas went on to have a great career as both an actor and a producer, which led to some of the biggest hits in 20 years. The movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was a big hit, but Michael Douglas now had to deal with a new problem: being able to find acting work after his success as a producer. His image as a producer was stronger than his acting career, which made it hard for him to get parts. But he broke through this barrier in 1979 when he co-produced and starred in the highly acclaimed movie The China Syndrome with Jane Fonda and Jack Lemmon. Well-known acting parts: Romancing the Stone. Michael's success as a leading man took off when he played the daring adventurer Jack Colton in the 1984 hit movie Romancing the Stone. This movie got great reviews, and it led to a good collaboration with co-stars Danny DeVito and Kathleen Turner, which led to The Jewel of the Nile in 1985. In 1989, they worked together again on the dark comedy The War of the Roses, As Sharp as a Breakup Getting Worse, Fatal Attraction, Wall Street, and Just a Feeling. Michael Douglas explored his darker side in two pictures in 1987 that showed how versatile he was as an actor. In Fatal Attraction, he played a man who was haunted by his ex-lover, played by Glenn Close. In Oliver Stone's Wall Street, he played Gordon Gekko, a cruel businessman who famously said greed is good. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his scary performance. Years later, Douglas kept going into darker areas. In 1992, she starred with Sharon Stone in the movie Basic Instinct, Wonder Boys: The Game, and A Perfect Murder. Michael Douglas signed a production deal with Paramount in 1994. This led to a string of hit films such as The Ghost and the Darkness, The Game, and A Perfect Murder. He was also an executive producer on The Rainmaker 1997, which starred Matt Damon, and John Woo's action-packed Face Off 1997. Douglas got good reviews for his leading part in Wonder Boys 2000 as a messy novelist and English professor. He was in the movie Don't Say a Word with Brittany Murphy in 2001. In 2003, after 2 years, he played the lead role in It Runs in the Family, the story of his father, mother, and son Cameron, who were all different generations. The movie didn't do well at the box office, but it showed how well Douglas could work with his skilled family members. Michael Douglas's career took off with a string of successful films, including Las Vegas 2013, in which he starred with superstars like Robert De Niro, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Kline. For the year 2014, he was in 2 films with Diane Keaton, the love comedy And So It Goes, and the thriller Beyond the Reach. Then, Douglas played scientist Hank Pym, the Marvel superhero, in the 2015 hit movie Ant-Man. He played the same character again in the 2017 sequel Ant-Man and the Wasp. Douglas said that he doesn't watch his own films more than once when asked about his favorite movie or part. He said that after leaving a premiere, he normally walks the red carpet and then leaves through the back door. He loves the process of making pictures, but he doesn't think about them all the time. He thinks that good writing and directing are what make a part or scene good. Work together with strong women. Michael has had the pleasure of working on the big screen with a number of talented and determined women, with whom he has usually had a good working relationship. But there is one mysterious actress whose name he has decided not to reveal for personal reasons, and he seemed to have a less positive relationship with her. He said that the fact that his mother was an actress made working with these tough women easy. To explain, Michael spent a lot of time with her behind the scenes at the theater, which made him feel at ease around strong women. In his films, many of the women he has worked with have had some of their best parts. These include Kathleen Turner, Genevieve Bujold, and Coma Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, Annette Bening, and Sharon Stone. Douglas said over and over that he tries to make his co-stars feel safe, relaxed, and respected. He also said that working with Kathleen Turner on the Kaminsky Method was his 4th time doing so, which made him feel very at ease. Kindness and faith work. Douglas comes from a lot of different cultures. He calls himself a Reformed Jew. He was born to a Jewish father and an Anglican mother. One of his cousins is the bishop of the Anglican Church of Bermuda. Douglas has accepted his Jewish heritage, even though he wasn't raised religiously. He even celebrated his son Dylan's bar mitzvah in Jerusalem. In 2015, Douglas was given the prestigious Genesis Prize, which honors outstanding Jewish success, and he generously gave the $1 million prize to support programs in the Jewish community that promote diversity, inclusion, and new ways to solve problems facing the world. Michael is a devoted philanthropist who works hard for many good causes, such as human rights, healthcare, and ending nuclear weapons. Since 1998, he was named a UN Messenger of Peace. He has worked hard to promote disarmament. Douglas has also helped the entertainment industry zone through the Motion Picture and Television Fund and has been an active participant in fundraising efforts for well-known medical institutions such as the Jewish General Hospital and the McGill University Health Center in Montreal, a city that is important to him personally. Michael Douglas has given money to more charities by supporting the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation and the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. This shows that he cares about many health-related issues. He has also become a strong supporter of cancer education and protection, especially when it comes to bringing attention to the link between the human papillomavirus HPV and oropharyngeal cancer. Douglas has talked a lot about how important it is to teach people about health and take precautions, drawing on his own experience in medical studies. The 100 Influential Celebrities in Oncology 2023 issue of Onco Daily recognized his work for this cause. Michael Douglas has been married twice, more than once before he married Catherine Zeta-Jones. But did you know that the famous person almost got married to the famous actor Brenda Vaccaro? How did they end their relationship? Watch to find out all the juicy information. Life outside of work, Douglas and Vaccaro. With parts in films like Once Is Not Enough Capricorn 1 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brenda Vaccaro has made a name for herself in the entertainment business. During her 5-year relationship with Michael Douglas from 1971 to 1976, her personal life was also in the news. Michael had seen Brenda in Midnight Cowboy and asked his father, Kirk Douglas, to set them up on the set of Summer Tree in 1971, which is how they met. As one of the most famous couples in Hollywood, they went to a lot of high-profile events, like 2 Academy Awards ceremonies. They were living together in Beverly Hills by 1973, but Brenda wasn't ready to get married yet because she liked having her own space, causing their relationship to end in the end. In a 2017 interview with Closer, Brenda Vaccaro talked about her ex-boyfriend Michael Douglas and said that they had thought about having a hippie wedding at her agent's house in the 1970s. But Brenda changed her mind and backed out, which she now feels bad about. She said that her new feelings for actor Don Stroud played a role in her choice. A link, she says, makes them crazy in love. Even though her friend Robert Shaw told her that breaking up with Michael would make her feel bad for a long time, Brenda did what she wanted at the time. She admitted that things were different for her back then and that her goals were different. Brenda Vaccaro found true love with Guy Hector, her husband of 37 years, after they broke up. At the same time, Michael Douglas met Catherine Zeta-Jones, a talented Welsh actor, and they instantly fell in love. When Michael and Catherine met in 1998, he fell in love with her right away. In 2010, he told The Guardian that Catherine was a huge surprise in his life. Michael liked his freedom as a single man after his divorce from Deandra. He told the women he dated that he was honest with them, as long as he didn't have more than one relationship going on at the same time in the same place. But meeting Catherine made his life more joyful and committed. Since then, the pair has become one of Hollywood's most stable power couples. Catherine Zeta-Jones blew me away. The first time I saw her, I remember it like it was yesterday. While looking at The Mask of Zorro, I became instantly interested. I leaned in and asked, "Who are you?" Later that year, we finally met in real life at a film event, and I fell in love with her right away. I fell deeply in love. I was sure that I wasn't the son-in-law that her parents had pictured, but I was determined to do a great job. First date, the fact that Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones are 25 years apart in age might make people look twice today, but it wasn't the main problem that almost stopped their relationship. Douglas said in 2016 that he thought he had blown his chances with the Welsh actor when she turned down his early romantic advances. Douglas said to Zeta-Jones, "I'm going to be the father of your children," which could have easily stopped their courtship before it even started. They met in 1998. Douglas's bold statement didn't quite have the effect he was going for on Zeta-Jones, though. She is said to have answered, "I've heard and seen a lot about you, and I think it's time for me to say goodnight." Douglas had to make things right after firing her so quickly, and he is said to have sent her flowers and a sincere apology note to win her back and finally win her over. Getting married. Kate Hudson and Michael Douglas got married in November 2000, only 3 months after having their son Dylan Michael. Karis Zeta, their daughter, was born in April 2003, making their family bigger. He also has a son named Cameron from a former marriage to Deandra Luker. In 2019, while walking the red carpet at the Golden Globes with his wife Catherine, Michael Douglas made it clear how much he loved her. He said that they stayed together because they became closer emotionally and understood each other's jobs in the show business. Douglas talked fondly about the time Zeta-Jones was pregnant with their daughter Karis while he was working in Chicago. It made him remember the award shows they went to together during that time. It was also great for him to be married to Catherine and have kids at a time in his life when his work was growing. This gave him more time to spend with his family. After they got married in 2000, Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones' rumored prenuptial agreement got a lot of attention, especially because it was said to have a clause that said Zeta-Jones would get $5 million if Douglas cheated on her, on top of the $5 million she would get every year while they were married. The public was very interested in this part of their deal, but the couple seemed to be united and not bothered by the attention. Putting on a united front. The New York Post reported that Catherine Zeta-Jones told Vanity Fair that she liked the idea of marriage agreements. "Prenuptial agreements are a great idea," she said. "If I were marrying someone much younger and with less money, I would definitely take the same precaution." Zeta-Jones made her point even stronger by asking rhetorically Douglas, who has worked very hard to build his fortune, be in a situation where half of it could potentially end up in someone else's hands. Michael has 3 kids, so he knows a thing or two about being a parent. Cameron, 45, Dylan, 23, and Karis, 20, are his children. They have taught him that being a good father takes a lot of work and patience, which can be hard for artists like him who are often focused on themselves. Now that I'm a proud grandfather to two cute grandkids. Lua and writer Michael is proud to see his son Cameron handle the good and bad parts of being a parent. Michael finds it funny and enjoyable to watch Cameron with his kids. He can't help but think that his son is going through the same problems that he and Cameron's dad had when Cameron was growing up. In a previous interview, Michael Douglas talked about his worry that as he gets older, it might get harder for him to keep guys away from his teenage daughter, Carys. Now that she's grown up, she has a regular boyfriend that he likes. Michael is proud of Carys' strong sense of right and wrong, her quick wit, and the fact that she is independent, which makes her stand out. Their parents, Michael and Catherine, are confused and thankful that both Carys and her brother Dylan are good at school. Michael adds in a funny way that he and Catherine are still trying to figure out where their kids' smarts come from. Health problems. In 1980, Michael had a serious skiing accident that took him out of work for 3 years and put a temporary stop to his playing career. That same year that he was in the hit movie Basic Instinct, 1992, Michael also got help for his problems with alcoholism and drug abuse, getting into the Sierra Tucson Sun Center on September 17th for a 30-day treatment program. Michael was diagnosed with throat cancer on August 16, 2010, and it had already spread to stage 4, which is an advanced state. To fight the disease, he had medication and radiation therapy. Notably, Douglas has said in public that the Canadian public healthcare system was very important in finding his cancer, saying that a doctor in Montreal, Quebec, was able to diagnose his illness after several specialists in the United States failed to do so. Douglas has since helped raise money for the Jewish General Hospital in Montreal, where he got his diagnosis, and the McGill University Health Center that is connected to it. Michael Douglas thought that his throat cancer was probably caused by stress, his background of alcoholism, and smoking a lot. However, Douglas was seen smoking a cigarette while on vacation in July 2011, as shown in pictures released by Star magazine. When asked for a statement, his representative chose not to say anything about the pictures. In November 2010, Michael's doctors told him to go on a weight gain plan because he had lost a lot of weight and was feeling weak and frail. By January 11, 2011, Douglas was able to say that the tumor had been completely removed. In spite of this, he admitted that the harsh care and illness had hurt his health and caused him to lose 32 pounds. Even though Michael's cancer was no longer growing, he knew that he would have to go for monthly checkups because there was a good chance that it would come back within 3 years. Some people thought he might have actually been diagnosed with oropharyngeal cancer, though. Douglas made it clear in October 2013 that he had been fighting tongue cancer, not throat cancer. He said that his doctor told him to call it throat cancer in public because tongue cancer has a worse prognosis and can make you look bad. Given the timing of the announcement, this suggestion was especially useful, which was at the same time as Douglas's tour to promote the movie Wall Street Money Never Sleeps. Douglas's controversial reason for why he was diagnosed with cancer. Michael Douglas said in 2010 that he had throat cancer, but later changed his mind and said that he actually had tongue cancer. After his doctor told him about the aggressive treatment he would need, he purposely played down the details of his illness, which could make his life a lot worse. 3 years after his scary diagnosis, Douglas talked about the real cause of his illness in an interview, which caused both criticism and misunderstanding. Michael Douglas told The Guardian that his type of cancer is linked to HPV, or human papillomavirus. This virus is usually spread through sexual behavior, specifically stimulation of the mouth. He said that HPV is a disease that is spread through physical contact and can cause cancer, but he didn't go into specifics. Break from marriage. Reports say that Catherine Zeta-Jones was upset when Michael Douglas told the public that his throat cancer was caused by oral stimulation and the HPV virus. This news is said to have played a part in the couple's choice to split up after 13 years of marriage. Zeta-Jones wanted a break. They said they were going to take some time to think about and work on their marriage, but Douglas's words didn't make it clear if he got the virus before meeting Zeta-Jones, which made things awkward. The problem got worse after that, as The Sun said. Besides Michael Douglas's victory over cancer in 2011, the couple has also had to deal with another health problem. The problems Catherine Zeta-Jones has with bipolar illness. She's been to get help for her sadness twice, including a stay in rehab in May. The couple made the hard choice at the end of that month to end their marriage and go their different ways, though they had probably been living separate lives for a while before that. Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones have kept the details of their breakup a secret, but in an interview with Event magazine in 2015, Michael hinted at a small setback by calling it a little bump in the road. But some people think that his diagnosis of tongue cancer and his words about how oral stimulation was probably the cause may have led to their breakup. During the interview, Michael said he was sorry if his comments made Catherine and her family feel bad. He made it clear that his goal was to get more people to know how important it is to get vaccinated against HPV, a sexually spread virus that has been linked to several types of cancer, such as cervical, tongue, and throat cancer. He stressed how important it was for kids to get vaccinated before they start having sexual relations in order to stop the spread of HPV. Michael admitted to making mistakes in his relationship with Catherine Zeta-Jones in an interview with The Sun on Sunday. He said that he had taken her for granted. He stressed how important it is to accept mistakes and learn from them, saying admitting mistakes is the first step, and then it's easy to deal with them. It's important to make mistakes in order to grow. In his younger years, he put a lot of value on pleasing other people and often forgot about the people closest to him. But as he's gotten older, he's changed his attention to taking care of his family and other loved ones and learning how to be polite. People magazine wrote in their article what saved their marriage. That Michael announced the next month that he and Catherine were working hard to get back together. Both Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas have talked about how they changed things in their relationship. And the answer was easy to find: putting in work. Michael said on the Ellen DeGeneres show in 2015 that their relationship was better than ever after both of them agreed to work together to make things work. He said that partnerships need work from both sides, they can't just go one way. I love her so much, and we've learned to work together. Every pair has problems, but we learned that the best way to get through them is to work together. It can be harder when you're in the public eye, but we're making it work. In an interview with Event, Michael Douglas talked about how important it is for both people in a relationship to put in the work to fix things. He said, "We worked through our issues, and if both partners are willing to put in the effort, you can strengthen your bond. However, it's impossible to achieve if only one person is committed to making it work." After his recovery from tongue cancer, Michael said, "It gave me a newfound appreciation for the beauty of marriage, the joy of my children, and a clearer, brighter view of life." Catherine Zeta-Jones talked about how to deal with problems in a relationship in an interview with The Telegraph. She said, "When you share your life with someone and see them every day, you'll face ups and downs." She said that constant love and respect, as well as keeping a good sense of humor, are important for a happy marriage. These things have helped her and Michael Douglas build a healthy, strong relationship. Catherine and Michael have been together for almost 30 years and have had ups and downs in their relationship, including a problem that almost caused them to break up. After only a few years, an explosive accusation is made against their marriage. Is there a chance that their relationship will last through something so bad? Claims of sexual abuse? In January 2018, Susan Brody wrote a story for The Hollywood Reporter in which she said she was sexually harassed at work at Michael Douglas's production company in the late 1980s. Brody said Douglas did disrespectful things like touching himself in front of her and talking about her body without her permission, putting pressure on her to sign a non-disclosure deal before firing her. In order to stop a story about sexual harassment from coming out, Michael Douglas gave a statement to Deadline in which he questioned the motives of his accuser, a former employee from 33 years ago. He said he was surprised that this person, who hadn't talked to him in 32 years, would now come forward with accusations. Douglas later put out another statement in which he called his accuser a top executive, a published novelist, and a well-known activist in the women's movement. He said that his accuser had never been uncomfortable or worried about working with him while she was at his company. He strongly claimed that he had done anything wrong with her. Michael told The Hollywood Reporter in a statement, "I would have respected it if she had reached out to me any time over these years to share her pain or concerns, and I would have been the first one to respond. But this, going straight to the newspapers or whatever you want to call them, just reeks of something else." That same year, Catherine talked about how upset she was about the accusations, saying that she had a conversation with Michael in front of their children to warn him about what could happen if he made more claims. She stressed that the accusations were not based on any evidence, saying that there was nothing to back them up at all. According to the Times, making accusations without evidence can set the movement back 20 years. Do you think Michael's statement about the cause of his illness was enough to end the marriage? If not, let us know in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree?